Washington, D.C. is my home away from home. I've worked here for the better part of 3 decades as a founder, entrepreneur, policy expert, and author.
Probably the longest title. Everybody sort of shortened it to ONC for sanity's sake.
Mercifully.
Yeah, mercifully.
I've learned leadership secrets from many healthcare executives who understand that Washington is the largest payer and regulator of healthcare.
She said, well, because you'll never get a husband if you do that.
I began interviewing healthcare leaders many years ago because what better way to learn how they think, why they make it to the top, and how they remained there. Think about what was your most challenging engagement.
Healthcare has been the most difficult problem. Let me just say.
We'll talk about that later. On the Gary Bisbee Show, our conversations explore the professional and personal decisions successful healthcare leaders make. As this show developed, we found that 1/3 of our audience members were early to mid-career leaders. At the request of the audience, we began to ask our guests what professional or personal advice they have for leaders on the way up. For this episode, we compiled answers from 3 healthcare leaders. We'll hear from Dr. Karen DeSalvo, Chief Health Officer at Google, Lieutenant General Scott Dingell, the Surgeon General of the U.S. Army and Commanding General of the U.S. Army Medical Command, and Hubert Joly, author of The Heart of Business, Senior Lecturer at the Harvard Business School, and leader of the dramatic turnaround of Best Buy as the Chairman and CEO. To begin, let's turn to Dr. Karen DeSalvo to hear her advice for leaders on the way up.
You know, I always tell people to pace themselves, which, Gary, is not my best quality. So as much as John Peabody taught me to say no, and I've gotten better at over with each year, I also am a very passionate person, and I get excited, and like many folks, I want to take things on, and I want to do a lot of good in the world. And that sounds so silly when I say it aloud, but it matters to me. And it's hard when you have that kind of a passionate drive to not only say no, but to know that you don't have to solve everything right away. So I want them to realize that the journey is so important. The people that you'll get to know on the journey will make you better, smarter. It'll enrich your life, and that you have to take time to build those relationships and experiences to hone your skills. Because you never know when that big thing is going to come. But if you're racing towards solving that one goal and not really thinking about other opportunities, or not really giving yourself the downtime to reflect and make sure that you're making yourself better for the next turn of the crank, I think you don't do yourself or others a service.
Karen encourages leaders to be passionate, but don't be blinded by it. For both her career and life, she has found that it's important to enjoy and reflect on the journey. Next is Lieutenant General Scott Dingell and his advice for young leaders.
I would tell them to live their dream and pursue their passion in the healthcare profession. Don't let anyone discourage you. Don't let anyone tell you no. Don't let the struggles of academia or professional hurdles stop you from living your dream in the healthcare profession, because your passion to preserve and impact the lives of others through healthcare is what's going to make you successful. I would tell you to be the best, be excellent. There's no room for error, in healthcare, because it's precise, and we need you to be precise. And if you're precise, if you're passionate and you're persistent and you're perfect at what you do, there's nothing that can stop you from living your dream of being the best cardiologist, the best doctor, the best nurse, the best administrator, the best veterinarian or physician assistant, or whatever it may be. Go after your passion. And when you go after your passion in the healthcare industry, you're going to always have the gratification of again, impacting the lives of people. That's what we do in the healthcare industry. But you will also be living your joy. And now your joy will never be a job 9 to 5, because you love what you do. But you also got to be careful, as Gary mentioned earlier, you got to keep the balance too. because often in the healthcare industry, we love what we do with a passion. I don't know if you all can tell, but I am very passionate about military medicine and I love what I do. But yet I also, get tired and I got to have that balance so that I can continue to lead and take care of others.
General Dingle encourages leaders to find what they love and love what they do. However, don't let your passion burn you out. He advises us to take time for ourselves when we need it. To wrap up, let's hear from Hubert Joly.
So remember when we were flying, right, in the old days, the steward or stewardess would tell us, look, if the oxygen mask comes down, put it on yourself first before you help others. And I think that in this crazy environment, our resilience as leaders is challenged. And so you need to make sure that you take care of yourself so that you can be a great leader. What does that mean concretely? I think that's going to mean, probably exercise, breathe, but also reflection and meditation. And a key question, and I'll leave with this, is how do you want to be remembered? One of the exercises we do in the new CEO program at Harvard is we ask the new CEOs to write their retirement speech. And my wonderful wife, Hortense, who's an executive leadership coach, she asked our client, I think it's even better, to write down their eulogy. The thing that people will say on the day you're not here to listen anymore. And I think if you write this down and regularly revisit it as your North Star, and by the way, being kind to yourself because you're only human, right? So you're not going to be perfect every day, right? So rather ask yourself every day, did I do my best to try and be the leader I want to be? And if the answer is no, that's okay. Don't be harsh on yourself. There's always tomorrow. So try again tomorrow and ask for help. Call Gary and say, Gary, do you have any advice for me on how I can become a better leader?
It may seem dark to write your own eulogy. However, your career progression and life should reflect what you value most. These mentors are unique people, each with a different set of skills, but they emphasize that it's important for leaders to take care of themselves. It's valuable to rest, step back, and reflect. Being a successful leader can be a daunting task. For example, in the heart of COVID, leaders were required to make decisions with little, incomplete, or partial information. However, leadership is a journey, not a destination. As noted by our guests today, we refine our skills with each new experience. Leadership is the accumulation of our abilities, experience, relationships, and reflections. To learn more about leadership and to grow your own leadership skills, please listen to us as we explore the art of leadership on The Gary Bisbee Show. Episodes drop every Thursday.